Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 41-year-old Idaho resident Matthew Huttle traveled to D.C. with his uncle Dale Huttle, and they headed to the Capitol after watching Donald Trump's speech. Huttle was recording as they entered the restricted grounds, and he was heard saying, quote, "We're going to see if we can get inside." And he was heard telling his uncle that he didn't think they'd be allowed to get close enough because of, quote, cops, a lot of cops. But, you know, there were no cops there. That's what they tell you, right? His uncle replied, quote, "I think we ought to bum rush the Capitol building. Arrest them all. We've got enough people to do that." So Huttle continued to record, and he said, quote, "Let's see if we can get close here." He made additional comments about the many officers, about Secret Service agents, and he wisely predicted, quote, "This is going to get bad." Then his video also captured others getting aggressive with the police. There were flashbangs going off in his videos. There were chemical fumes in the air. There were people yelling, "Breach it." And then Huttle said, quote, "Some people just stormed it and got beat up and maced. They beefed up the line. These are all cops up front." So Huttle was very aware of the violence and all the many ways that the police were trying to hold the mob back. Still, he and his uncle moved forward. They moved toward the Capitol. His uncle was heard on video berating the police. Then he leaned over to his nephew and he pointed at the building and said, quote, "We're going in the front door." So a short time later, the mob attacked the police officers and the police line was breached. At that point, Huttle and his uncle followed the police like they were, chasing after them. And his uncle actually tried to take a baton away from one of the cops. Then they moved on to the Lower West Terrace. And after seeing others breaking into the parliamentarian door, Huttle was heard saying, quote, "We're going in." And he did. Huttle was seen on surveillance video. He illegally entered the Capitol through the Senate wing doors. He was still recording as he entered, and he captured video of the door with the shattered glass. You could hear the alarms blaring as he walked inside. You could hear the aggression from the mob. They were chanting and screaming. Others around him were climbing through broken windows. And he was heard saying, quote, "Smells like a lot of weed in here. Everyone is smoking weed." So after Huttle made his way to the third floor, he entered an office and he recorded a view out of a shattered window. And he said, quote, "This is the front of the building, that broken window, millions of people out here. We're inside. They've got the whole place surrounded." At one point, he turned the camera around. He actually showed his own face and he said, "This is me," which we thank him for. Sometime later, Huttle encountered the police and they tried to usher him and others out of the exit. But Huttle said he thought it was a trap, so he took off in the other direction. Eventually, he did exit. He went out the same door that he had entered 16 minutes earlier. But Huttle remained on the Capitol grounds. He was there for several hours. And then following the Capitol attack, Huttle deleted some of his videos, and he later told the FBI he did it because of the, quote, trouble that occurred on January 6th. So Huttle was arrested on November 28th of 2022, and he was charged with entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol. And Huttle said something in a post-arrest interview that I thought was hysterical. He told investigators that it was, quote, quiet when he entered the Capitol. Huttle also said he believes the FBI is responsible for the attack on January 6th because he saw people attacking the building who appeared to have training. Nevertheless, he pleaded guilty to entering a restricted building or grounds in August of 2023, and he faced up to 1 year in prison, 1 year of probation, and $100,000 in fines. And this time, the prosecutor requested almost the full prison term. They asked for 10 months in prison, 1 year of probation, 60 hours of community service, and $500 in restitution. And this is likely due to Huttle's extensive criminal history. The government sentencing memo says, quote, Huttle has been engaged in numerous instances of violence, including battery. And the battery case involved the physical abuse of his 3-year-old son. According to the sentencing memo, Huttle spanked his son so hard that he left bruises all over his backside and his neck. It's a 3-year-old. And the little boy was in so much pain, he couldn't sit normally for a full week. So Huttle received a 2.5-year prison term for that crime. And he has repeatedly been convicted for driving while intoxicated. Over the years, he's had additional arrests for charges of conversion, which means using or controlling someone else's property without their authorization. It's like, taking someone's car and then bringing it back. It's not stealing it, but using it. Disorderly conduct, failure to return to lawful detention, 3 arrests for resisting law enforcement, attempted aggravated battery, domestic battery, numerous public intoxication charges, and criminal mischief. So all of those were ultimately dismissed. And after he took part in the Capitol attack, he allegedly committed more crimes. He's also facing charges for, quote, disregarding oncoming traffic and almost causing an accident as he displayed signs of intoxication, refused field sobriety tests, and alcoholic beverages were in plain view within the vehicle. Huttle also has 4 other charges pending from additional alleged crimes he committed since January 6th. He also violated the conditions of his pretrial release in this case numerous times. So Huttle was caught using weed, apparently. That was one of them. He refused to appear for drug testing. He relocated to a different state without notifying the court. And he gave pretrial services inaccurate information. So this guy clearly believes the rules don't apply to him. U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper presided over Huttle's case. Unfortunately, I couldn't locate details about what was said at the sentencing hearing, but Huttle was sentenced to only 6 months in prison, 1 year of probation, and $500 in restitution. Nowhere near enough. Not even close considering this guy's history. My hope at this point is that his fellow inmates show him exactly how his son felt. That will be justice. Anyway, Christopher Cooper, he's another one that needs to go. Just an utter failure as a judge, an embarrassment. All right, I will let you know when I hear more about this guy and his additional charges. I will keep an eye on this for you. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe, even though the outcome sucked. Don't shoot the messenger. If you can donate, I truly appreciate it. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.